Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. I'm back up to 2,500 point gains because I just like them better. I know. I think somebody in one of my last videos in Battle Report 202, one of the comments was, It seems like you're playing your 2,000 point army like it's a 25 point army. Yeah, you're probably exactly right. So it feels good to be back up past the 2,000 point line. The army feels right. It feels right. I'm in a good place. But yeah, this is battle report number 203 for those too lazy to read the title. And it's me, Lord Tremendous of the Undead Legion versus Death, Holy Death, my Undead Legion rival. He used to be my Dark Elf, rival, and then he was my Vampire Count rival, and then for a very short amount of time he was a Dwarf rival, but I never actually played him with his Dwarves. So yeah, he's just my rival, but it's in a good way. Like, we only send each other severed body parts on the holidays because we care. But it's a good game. This is actually a really good game. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be entertained. Because if you're not ready to be entertained, it ain't happening. Yeah, it's like that.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, and yes, there are some changes. I am back to my Vampire Lord, Lord Tremendous. He's a level 4 wizard with heavy armor. He's on an Abyssal Terror. He's got the Sword of Might, Enchanted Shield, Talisman of Preservation, Other Trickster Shard, Quick Blood, Red Fury, and the Lore Vampires. And I went with this guy because, number one, I missed having the Blender Lord. I also missed having the model I used for the Abyssal Terror. The model I have with the Vampire Lord on, I'm actually very proud of that semi-conversion. I like the way it looks, I like the way it plays, I like the way it feels. Basically what I've done is I've made him into my Demon Prince. Yes, the mount can be shot out from under him, no problem. Yes, the mount has no saves whatsoever. I know you're right. I could put him on a Hellsteed and get pretty much the same deal. I don't want to do that. I like this kit. I like having the monster. I like running him around. It's more preference than intelligence with this choice, but this I like. I gave him the Sword of Might because Strength 6 is a lot more reliable than Strength 5. I gave him the Enchanted Shield because I wanted a 2-up armor as opposed to the 3-up armor. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, use the Charm Shield. You're right. It would be a smarter choice, but he would only have a 3-up armor. I like the high armor saves, so I've decided to, just go with it. Talisman of Preservation, duh. Other Trickster Shard, duh. Quick Blood, Red Fury, duh. Lore Vampires, because like I said before, you guys were right. Lore Vampires is a hell of a lore. I like that I can heal him and his mount, especially his naked mount, with all that stuff. So yeah, he's still quite expensive. I think he's pushing over 600 points, but I like him. I like him a lot. No, I don't think it's 600. I think it's closer to like 500 and something. But either way, I like him a lot, and that's why I chose to kit him out like that. And I like having the model back. My hero choices are a Lich Priest, Queen Elizabeth. She's a level 2 wizard with the Seed of Rebirth, a Dispel Scroll, and the Lorna Hekara. Obviously, level 2, obviously a Lich Priest, because I wanted to use the Tomb King lore. I gave her a Dispel Scroll because, duh. And I'm using the Seed of Rebirth because they don't have like the natural regen anymore because there's no such thing as a Hierophant. So I went to Seed of Rebirth just so that I could get to roll it at 1 in 6 chance of stopping any wound that goes her way. I've made them before. It's a little crazy. Then, of course, I have my Tomb Prince, Dark Vincent. He's got a great weapon, armor, silvered steel, and the Dragonbane gem. Took him because he goes back into the unit of skeletons. I lost the Tomb Guard, and I went back to the skeletons for reasons you'll see later. But he has a great weapon so that if he does hit you, it actually wound. Armor, silvered steel, so he doesn't just fall over. And the Dragonbane gem, because this guy's flammable. So, yeah, it seemed right. And then, of course, I have my Necrotech Sinister Jeffrey. He's got the Dragon Helm and the Iron Curse icon. Necrotech, I like Hatred, and it's cool when you have an Arcane Construct around. My core choices are a unit of 33 zombies with Banner Musician. I'm trying out the zombies. I'm not sure if I like them yet or not. They are growing on me. I did a conversion I'm proud of. I have like a bunch of Marauders all chewed up and some female zombies I found on eBay that I've put in there so that the Marauders actually line up better. And, it's cool to have a bunch of female zombies running around. So it's kind of neat. I like the unit. I like what I did with it. I'm proud of it. And so I want them to work. So I'm going to figure out zombies. And so there. Yeah, you can't stop me. Then, of course, I'm back to the 58 skeleton warriors, the Fateless, with full command, hand weapon, shield, and light armor. Then I have 13 skeleton archers, the Queen's Guard, with full command and light armor. And 3 chariots, Rolling Bones, with Banner Musician and the Banner of Eternal Flame. My special choices are my Chimerian War Sphinx with Fiery Roar, and of course, 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, and 3 Morghast Harbingers. And I put these guys into the list because I wanted to try them out. I did try the Arachai, and the 3 attacks each just wasn't cutting it because I like to miss. Also, Shrink 6 was nice, and 4 up armor save was nice, but to be honest with you, they just weren't. They were too expensive for what they did, and somebody suggested, both at my local store, in my gaming group, and on the comment section back when I tried the Arachai, that I should try a unit of 3 Arachai, because 3 seems to be the magic number, and they said go with Harbingers because you get extra attacks because they have extra hand weapons, and Strength 5 is great, but Killing Blow is really what you're relying on. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So this is me giving it a shot. See, I do listen, people. I do listen. So keep the suggestions coming. Sometimes I try them out. Sometimes I do. And then, of course, my rare choice is my Casket of Souls. I don't have a Death Holy Death list, for simple reason because we're prepping for the Carnival of Chaos, and neither of us are really sure what exactly we're going to bring, but there's no reason for you to have Death Holy Death list because it's closed list, and there's no reason for you to have his list until you're playing against him. So yeah, it's bad enough you get to look and see, and I tell you kind of what things we're doing, so it is what it is. Sorry, that's the reason. Here are my spells on these awesome magic cards, and they're pretty much exactly what you're looking at. And here are death spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. Here's deployment, and for the most part, my army's bigger than his, haha. And so I did my Magic U formation. I had the Morghast on the right flank there because anything that shot down, I wanted to see what they could do. I'm not 100% familiar with them, so I'm not that good with them. I don't know what I can do with them, so I wanted them to basically hit something in the flank. I wanted to see what they could do, best case scenario. So I put him over on the side there, and because I knew he was going to come at me. I have my chariots over there just to back up the Harbingers or either the zombies or the skeleton warriors that are in the middle there. My archers with my caster are safely in the back. Kitty's behind the house there. Basically, Kitty and my Vampire Lord and Abyssal Terror are in the back left there, staying away from the Terror guys because I don't want the Terror guys to just fly forward and nuke one of them in the first round because it's happened before and I don't like it. And I believe my casket is way over on the left side in the corner there, and I didn't get a picture of it because I forgot. There's a better, or I'm sorry, yeah, this is my opponent's right flank, which from left to right consists of a unit of zombies, a unit of 6, what is it? Crypt Horrors, I believe. Behind them is his Mortis engine, and it's got something where basically he rolls on the miscast chart twice, and I get to choose which one it is or something. I think that's what it does. Something crazy like that, but it's got whatever that is. And then right next to them is a big old unit of Skeleton Warriors with hand weapon shield, with his Strigoi Ghoul King as his general. He's got a Tomb Prince in there, and then he's got full command, and he's got 2 vampires in there. Both are level 2. Pretty sure that's right. And here's the center. There's his Terrorgeist. In front of them is another unit of zombies. Next to them is a unit of Direwolves. And behind them is another unit of zombies with a level 4 Master Necromancer, I believe. Or a Lich High Priest. I can't remember which. I think it is... No, it is. It is a Lich High Priest in there. And she's the one with the Lore of Light. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Harbingers. I know they're not the right models. I have the Arachai, and then I have a Vargeist just sitting in there as a proxy. I know he's on the wrong base. We were well aware of that in the very beginning. I'm just trying him out. We were both cool with it. So calm down, everybody. I know you're right. Good eyes. But yeah, I wasn't willing to spend the money on more Harbingers until I knew I liked them. So you'll find out at the end of the game whether or not I liked them. And then, of course, there are my chariots right next to them. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my zombies. There's my skeleton warriors with Necrotech and Tomb Prince installed. Behind them are my archers with my Lich Priest. There's the kitty, and there's my Vampire Lord. And here's my left flank, which consists of my casket. Here's top of one after movement, and I went first. Not a whole lot of movement. Kitty kind of hid behind a house and watched that alleyway. My vampire lord ran up the left flank there to try to maybe get a hold of his Mortis engine or his Terrorgeist, whatever kind of presented itself first. I thought that would be kind of cool. And the rest of my stuff just kind of backs up a little bit and waits for him to come to me. Nothing happens in my magic or shooting phase. He burns his scroll in this round, I believe, and the rest of my stuff he was just able to easily dispel because I used my dice. I think I tried the 6 dice Curse of Years or something like that, and it wasn't irresistible on his Skeleton Warriors. Didn't work out. So, and the rest of the spells he just was able to stop, no problem. So, we go to bottom of 1 after movement, and he comes forward. Not like all willy-nilly or nothing like that. Just comes forward respectably. His Direwolves and his Crypt Horrors move up the most. I think his Crypt Horrors really wanted to see the kitty in combat, which I was not looking forward to. And other than that, everything else I just try to keep up. He's got his nice little blitz formation going on up there. Nothing happens. I'm able to stop his magic phase no problem because I believe he tries to cast his first spell with 2d6 and rolls Snake Eyes, so his level 4 Allure Light was dead. Or not dead, but, done. And then his, I think he's got another, whatever, his other caster tried to cast and did the same thing. Like, he rolled Snake Eyes twice in a row or something ridiculous crazy. And then I was able to just dispel the rest of his magic phase with ease, so we go to top of 2 after movement, and I move my Vampire Lord further over, trying to get an angle on his Mortis engine without, getting screamed at by both of them. And the rest of my army just kind of backs up a little bit more, trying to buy me as much time as I can to whittle them down before I have to charge into them in close combat, because that never seems to work out for me with Death Holy Death. During the magic phase, I finally get Curse of Years off on his skeleton unit. I believe I kill maybe 10 of the skeletons. Not a ton, maybe a little bit more, maybe 12. Not terrible. I'll take whatever I can get, don't get me wrong. But I don't believe I hurt any of his characters or anything like that. But now the spell is up, and the greatest thing about Curse of Years is, number 1, that spell is a face melter, and number 2, you need to roll a 12 in order to stop it. So that's awesome. I'm actually infecting his magic phase, and I feel really good about that. Unfortunately for me, it was Irresistible Force, and it was a miscast 6.
No! You must not read from the book!
The only good thing is I'm able to ward save the strength 10 hit I take, but my monster takes it and is now bleeding from the face holes. So not awesome, but at least my Vampire Lord's okay. I mean, let's face it, the Terror is really just, a carrier. So yeah, it does a little bit of damage in combat. I do like it. I do like the ability to Thunder Stomp, but for the most part, that's what he's there for, to soak up wounds. After that, we go over here into shooting, and my chariots are able to pluck 3 of the dire wolves off the face of the planet, so that's pretty cool. And with nothing else happening, we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement. And yeah, his Terrorgeist runs over to scream at my general, not a shock. And the rest of his army moves up for the kill, with the exception of the direwolves. The direwolves turn the hell around and get out of dodge. They go hiding in the forest. Because that's as far as he could put them, and he just knew they weren't going to do anything. And he didn't want me using them to bump off of them and then charge into the zombies or anything like that. So, not stupid. Nothing happens in his magic phase, so we go into shooting, and of course his Terrorgeist just obliterates my Abyssal Terror. My general doesn't take any damage thanks to his ward save, but now he's on the ground instead of being on the Terror, which makes him movement 6 now, so we can march 12, which is, 8 inches shorter of what I would have liked, and, not to mention all the ground problems you have maneuvering. But the good thing about this is, now that he's on an infantry base, the Abyssal Terror is just barely in his line of sight. We actually lined it up, and yeah, we have a laser and everything. So I lost my Terror, but now I can charge his Terrorgeist next turn, so that's kind of cool. So, with nothing else going on, we go over here to top of 3 after movement. And yeah, I kinda make my move. It's not really impressive. My Morghast Harbingers, they move over to the right there, as you can see, getting ready to countercharge anything that comes within range, because I really want to see what they can do. My Chariots get ready to charge with the Harbingers, probably a zombie unit just trying to, obliterate it before he can bring them back. My other zombies, or my zombies, my skeleton warriors, and the kitty, they all kind of get ready to countercharge his general and stuff that come in because I got nothing to throw at him to stop him. And the kitty, I move back as far as I can because I don't want the ghouls to hit them. And the great thing about this is he would have to roll a 9 or a 10 in order to. I think he needed a 10 to hit my kitty where they were from the ghouls and stuff like that. So a 9 or a 10. So that was awesome. Other than that, like I said, my general charged into the Terrorgeist. There's a better picture of my general slamming into his Terrorgeist, and that's going to be sweet friggin' revenge. And then during his last magic phase, he was able to dispel Curse of Years off his Skeleton Warriors, so I, obliged him and put it on his Crypt Horrors. And I only do a wound, which isn't terrible, but now it's on there. I'm doing 6, hits on him, basically, and next turn I'll need 5s, or he's going to have to waste at least 3 dice trying to dispel it, so that's cool. Also, during the magic phase, I'm able to get Killing Blow off on my Skeleton Warriors. I'm trying to deter him from charging them right now. And if he does charge them, at least I have a chance on Killing Blowing his characters, his unit champion, all that other stuff. So, that's kind of nice. Nothing happens in the shooting phase, so we go into combat, or in my shooting phase anyway, so we go into combat, and boom. My general does eat a wound for his trouble. Fluffy was able to do a wound to me, but with combat res and everything like that, I was able to kill the Terrorgeist, and that's outstanding. With nothing else to do, we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and the Crypt Horrors charge the kitty and make it. He rolled a 10. Couldn't believe it, but it is what it is. What can you do? Other than that, his zombies on our right flank here, they didn't move because he knew where the Harbingers wanted to go. But his Skeleton Warriors and his other zombies came forward with the Mortis Engine right behind him to ensure they get that stupid regen save next turn. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a better picture of his Crypt Horror slamming into the kitty, and that is not what I wanted to have happen at all because they have so many poison attacks. It's just devastating. During his magic phase, his casket, he does have a casket. It's kind of hard to see. It's all black, kind of blends into his shirt when he's standing behind it. But his casket targets my casket. I let it go off thinking I'd be okay, and I roll like a 74. My casket explodes, and the only casualty is my pride. And, and a casket. So that sucks. Then we go towards the end of the magic phase. He forgets about Curse of Years. It goes off, and I'm able to slip another wound through on the Crypt Horrors. It's actually doing a decent amount of damage to him. I know it's only six dice, but I'm doing a decent amount of damage to these guys. It's just he keeps regenning all of it. So I've got one guy mostly dead. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Nothing happens in the shooting phase, so we go into combat, and yeah, with poison attacks alone. Actually, not just with poison attacks. He does like 4 poison wounds, don't get me wrong, but other, like, with just regular hits and everything like that, they do like another 8 wounds to the kitty, and they obliterate him, which just sucks. But a little shocking. Well, I shouldn't say shocking. I was avoiding this unit like the plague with the kitty, but yep. Poison rules all, and it ruled over the kitty and killed him, and that I was not happy about at all. So we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and I say, screw it. My Skeleton Warriors charge into his unit of zombies. Just because I figured why not. If I charge into his unit of skeletons, I wouldn't have been able to make it because the zombies were slightly more forward and there was a house in the way of the skeletons, so there was nothing I could do there. And so the chariots charged into the flank of those zombies. My hope was to burn through the zombies as quick as I can, and then my chariots could like turn and face the Mortis Engine and maybe get a hold of it next turn or whatever, while my skeletons hit the other skeletons and then formed into them, blah blah blah. And of course, my Morghast Harbinger guys, they slam into the other unit of zombies in the flank. So I'm very excited about that because if I can get that unit dealt with, I can take care of his level 4 Allura Lightcaster, and that would be awesome. There's a better picture of my skeletons and my chariots slamming into the zombies, and let's face it, they're zombies. And there's a better picture of my Morgus Harbinger slamming into another unit of zombies that are serving as a bunker for that level 4 Laura Light High Lich Priest that I want to see dead. Nothing happens in magic or shooting whatsoever, so we go into combat, and they don't do terrible. I do kind of, screw the roll a little bit. I don't do quite as well as I would have liked to. A lot of failed to wounds, believe it or not. Like, a lot of ones really ate at my soul. But I took a unit of, oh god, I don't know. I took like 15 or 16 zombies off altogether, which isn't terrible, all things considered, with, what, 12, 15 attacks, all, with, what's it called? Stomps and everything. That's not terrible. That's not terrible at all. I did take a wound for my trouble, and to be honest with you, I did take that wound flying in because I failed a dangerous terrain check. But I'll take it. I mean, that was really good, and he loses this combat, isn't able to roll his leadership in order to turn to face, and awesome. I get another flank-filled fun right there. Then over here in combat, yeah, it goes really, really well, but not perfect. There's like 11 zombies left after all is said and done. I lost 2 skeleton warriors and nothing happened to my chariots. So unfortunately, it didn't go quite as perfect as I had hoped it would, but my chariots are in good position, my skeleton warriors are in good position, and if his skeleton warriors and mortis engine charge in, I can concentrate attacks on the zombies, hopefully kill the zombies and use that combat res to my advantage to break his mortis engine and hopefully his skeleton warriors before they can do it to me. So we go over here to bottom before after movement, and his mortis engine charges into the flank of the chariots and makes it no problem. The skeleton warriors, with all of his characters in it, charge into my skeleton warriors, which isn't a shock, and his crypt ghouls charge into the flank of my archers, and yeah, they're dead. But they did take 1 wound during the last magic phase because of Curse of Years, and I killed 1, so at least it's kind of going my way, but it's not perfect at all. Not sexy at all. Other than that, his zombies turn to face my general, which is kind of laughable, and everything else he has is dead in combat, or dire wolves that we've completely forgotten about hiding in the forest. There's a better picture of his crypt horror slamming into my archers, and yeah, I should have seen that. I'm an idiot. And there's a better picture of his mortis engine and his skeleton warrior, character bus slamming into my skeleton warriors and chariots. During the magic phase, nothing happens, so I do Curse of Years again. He fails to dispel it, and I'm able to slip 2 wounds through this time, which is kind of nice. Not enough to kill 1, but let's face it, killing 1 wasn't really going to change the outcome of this combat. During his shooting phase, he's able to roll boxcars with his mortis engine into my chariots and obliterate all of them. I think he did 7 wounds total. It was unbelievable. Just un-effing believable that he did exactly enough damage to destroy all my chariots. Only with Death Holy Death will you see stuff like this. But yeah, before combat even becomes a thing, he explodes my entire unit, and doesn't it just figure? Then over here we go into combat, and the only thing that's left is Queen Elizabeth. So it's all over but the crying here. I do try to turn and face and fail miserably, so it is what it is. Then over here in combat, this could have went better. I think in the end I lose this combat by like 2 or 3. I was within range, 12-inch range of the Harbinger, so I lost it by 1 less. But I flub pretty spectacularly. It's actually kind of embarrassing. I think I kill like 5 zombies and 2 or 3 skeleton warriors. It's really not enough to do anything. My Tomb Prince dies pretty much immediately to his Ghoul King. Not even in a challenge, he just rape-faced him, and what can you do? But yeah, that hurt a lot, and that could have been a lot better. Then over here, I kill another couple of ranks worth of zombies. There's just a lot of them. And then those crazy bastards actually slip 2 wounds through. Yeah, under my Harbingers. I win this combat, but holy crap, who gave them permission to do that? So, with all that fun said and done, we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and there's really nothing else for me to do. My snakes finally come on the table to Care Bear stare at the Mortis engine. My zombies charge into the ghouls in the vain attempt to save my queen before she gets just pummeled, and that's really it. My general starts running forward because he's going to try to get into this combat and save somebody. There's a better picture of my zombies slamming into his crypt horrors, and I know it's not the greatest idea in the world, but I figured screw it, they might as well do something. And I want to see how well they hold up to a superior foe. During the magic phase, I'm not able to do anything other than pull out all of his dispel dice, so Curse of Years goes off again, and I'm able to slip through 4 wounds, which means 2 crypt horrors die, which is awesome. That's going to help tremendously. And then during the shooting phase, my snakes are cross-eyed. I don't know. I roll 2 2s and a misfire, which is almost as horrible as it could have gotten. I lose a snake for my trouble, and I think like 1 wound went through on the mortis engine, and my soul was crushed. It's like, damn it, you guys took 5 fucking rounds to come in, and then you stare at each other, idiots. Oh, come on, stalkers. I need a big W from you. I mean, these are the same stalkers that took out Korgath. They need to start taking out basic units without killing themselves. Then over here in combat, things go quite well. My Morghast are able to take out all but 4 zombies and the character, which means soon that damn general, or that damn level 4, will be dead. And I'd love to get those points, not to mention the caster, off the table. Then over here, it's not great at all. I flub once again. He doesn't, and I'm down to about 42 skeletons and my Necrotech, which is pathetic. But I don't really expect a whole lot of the skeleton warriors. I need to stop charging with them. It's really stupid that I keep doing that, but what can you do? What can you do? I'm a stupid person sometimes. So we go over here to bottom of 5 after movement, and there's really nothing to report. Well, no, that's not true. His Mortis Engine slams into my Skeleton Warriors, which spells the end for them. During combat last turn, his ghouls were able to finish off my Queen, but they weren't able to finish off my zombies, and I think they won combat by like 1 or 2, not a big deal. But yeah, they're in there. The other unit of zombies in the top left there turn to face my general, which just isn't happening, and everything else he has is dead, in combat, or cowering in the forest. There's a better picture of his Mortis Engine slamming into my Skeleton Warriors, and so be it. During his magic phase, he's able to get Invocation off. There was just nothing I could do. It was irresistible. And yeah, so there's like 12 more zombies in there now. His Mortis Engine is fine. His Skeleton Warriors are back up or they're at full health. And those zombies that my Harbingers have been working on for so long are now damn near up to half strength. So, FML, people, FML. The only bonus really is that he miscasts 6, which is kind of awesome. After all is said and done, it does do a considerable amount of damage. A couple of his characters have wounds on them, and a decent chunk of Skeleton Warriors get obliterated. So it pretty much brings him back down to what he was at, but the characters are wounded now, so that's kind of nice. And it ends his magic phase. Oh, I'm not sorry. That's not true. He does have enough dice left over to do one more thing. He uses Foz protection on his zombies, so now I need 4s in order to hit them. During the shooting phase, the Mortis Engine screams into the skeletons out of spite, killing 4 because reasons. And then we go into combat, and my skeletons just, they sheath their swords in their bodies because, well, they're skeletons. They're flippin' stupid. In the end, I have a Necrotech and 2 skeletons left. The only bonus, and I use that word very loosely, is now his Skeleton Brick and his Mortis Engine are out of combat, and my Skeleton Warriors and my Necrotech are in against zombies, which they have a slim chance against. Then over here, I'm able to bring him down to about 8 zombies and his caster. I'm just hoping to get his caster before the end of the game now for the points, because I'm a little disgusted with myself. Over here, zombies just keep falling down. They don't do anything to the crypt horrors. They actually do some wounds, but death makes their regens no problem. I lose this combat, and I've got about, 16 zombies left, which might make it another round of combat. To find out if my theory is correct, we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and mostly out of just why not. My general charges into the rear of the skeleton brick, just there's nothing else for him to do, so I figured screw it. It was too far to go after the Mortis engine, it was too stupid to go after the zombies, and so I said, let's see what happens. So I threw him into the Skeleton Warriors, knowing I'm going to lose this game anyway, but maybe I could kill off a character or two just out of, spite. Other than that, everything else I have is dead or in combat. There's a better picture of my Vampire Lord throwing his life away by charging into the big brick of Skeleton Warriors. During the magic phase, he's able to get Van Hell's Dance Macabre off on the Harbingers, just basically so that I can finally get his stupid caster dead. It is irresistible, and I end up miscasting 9 because reasons.
No! You must not read from the book!
But the strength 6 hit he takes does not wound him, which is kind of nice. And it ends my magic phase, but so what? Towards the end of the magic phase, since he used all his dispel dice to stop my casting, with the exception of the irresistible force, Curse of Years pops off again and takes out one of the cool Cryptors, which is nice. Maybe my zombies can make it one more turn now. That would be phenomenal. And then in combat right here, Van Hell's really helps a lot. I hit and wound all 8 times, and I think I even stomp her once. Well, I don't know. I mean, after it's not true. That's not true. It's not hit and wound all 8 times, but the Morghast are able to bring down that unit basically to just a Lich Priest, and she's got a wound on her after combat res, so that's awesome. And then over here, it's a little laughable. The Necrotech and the 2 Skeleton Warriors. Well, the skeleton, I have 1 left, and my Necrotech is still alive, but I've got 4, 8, 12, 15 zombies to deal with, and 1 more round of combat to survive. So, with the Mortis engine pulsing next turn, I don't expect anything to be around. And then the combat over here, he doesn't send anything down there to fight my Vampire Lord, which makes sense. I am able to beat up his skeletons decently, and now I'm actually onto the original movement tray, which I'm excited about. Unfortunately, even though I won this one, he easily makes his leadership 9 and turns to face me, which means now my general's dead. But it'll still be fun. What can you do? Then over here, I'm able to slip a wound through with the zombies, and I have 9 left at the end of the game. Well, at the end of the turn. So, with a heavy heart, we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and of course it pulses. It kind of flubs against the Harbingers. I think it puts a wound on my general, and it kills the last skeleton, and puts a wound on my Necrotech, which is just spectacular. Other than that, it didn't pulse out too much. I think it was a solid 8 inches, but it was enough to pretty much end most of my hopes and dreams. During his magic phase, he gets Hellish Vigor off on his unit, and that is fine. The resulting miscast 4, however, results in a boatload of his skeletons dying. I'm able to make my ward save, I believe, but the caster, one of his little level 2 vampires in the background there that actually cast the spell, she gets sucked into the warp. A lot of the what's it called? Skeleton Warriors get killed, and that is absolutely outstanding. Then over here, he's able to get Briona's Time Warp off on his Skeleton Warriors as well. And the crazy bastard did it with like 4 dice and Irresistible Force 4 again. The funny part about that is he was trying to do that because he knew she was dead anyway, and he was hoping to do some wounds to the Harbingers, and because, that's actually hilariously cool. So yeah, he blows her up, does a Strength 10 hit on both Harbingers, and ends up not wounding either of them, which is really nice. But she gets sucked into the warp, which is even better. So yeah, she's dead, and the Harbingers are just like, well, what do we do now? Oh, that's what we do. We get screamed at by the Mortis engine and take 2 wounds. So 1 Harbinger's dead, but the unit's going to survive, and that's what's important. Then over here, my Necrotech does a pretty good showing. He doesn't take any wounds, and he's able to win this combat. There's still, 4, 8, or 5, 10, 14 zombies left over in the end. But my Necrotech's not dead, and that's what's important. However, Tremendous decides now is the time to flub spectacularly, and he does. I don't get my rerolls, so I'm not able to wound anything. He's not able to wound me either, but with 3 ranks and a banner to nothing, I lose by 4, and my vampire falls over into dust. Because life, she is not fair. So, after all is said and done, there it is. There's the end of the game. And while there is an abundance of undead on the table, it's not my undead. My zombies also died this turn. When I rolled for Curse of Years, I did wound him twice, but he was able to regen both of them. So, what can you do? I think in the end, all I have left on the table are my Morghasts and my Necrotech. So, not a good showing for me, but what can you do? I'm a little embarrassed. But you know what? We'll get to the recap in a second because right now it's time for oh, no, it's not time for anything. This game's over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hey guys, you know these tokens, you've seen them 100 times, and you know what? Every time you see them, if you haven't bought them yet, you're just wasting time. Get these tokens. All of the lords of whatever spell you're casting, all the wound counters. You see me use them in every single game, and you've never heard me since I've been using the counters going, I can't remember how many wounds I had, or what spell was on this guy, or whatever. And they're flawless. They're awesome. You're the envy of everyone you play against. Send Token Gal an email. Get these tokens. They're dirt cheap, but they're solid gold quality, guys. I'm telling you, you cannot go wrong. A lot of people have already ordered them, and nobody's returned any. Nobody's even asked to return any. All they do is they order more. Get yours. Get them soon. You're wasting time, and these are totally worth it. Tell her Tremendous sent you. Hey guys, I got another great deal for you. Movement trays. We all use them. We all need them. If you're watching this report, you have some or you need some. And do I have the vendor for you? This guy makes solid metal movement trays. I mean, cuts them to your specifications using a galvanized metal. It's not that cheap, thin, weak aluminum. This stuff is sturdy. I'm using them. I used them all throughout this game. Take a look at the pictures. They're all in there. I love these trays. They're metal, so they auto-magnetize, well, provided you put magnets on your guys. And he does them dirt cheap, guys. I'm telling you. He's got an eBay page. There's an email on here. Get a hold of this guy. Get yourself some movement trays and get yourself organized. You're going to be thrilled. You can paint them. You can do everything. These things are awesome. My local game store guy is literally in contact with this guy so that he can become a vendor. That's how high quality these things are. So I'm telling you guys, give this guy an email. Check out his eBay page. Get yourself some movement trays and stop playing like a Neanderthal. Tell him Tremendous sent you. You won't regret it. Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you were paying attention or not, but we got a few new pictures. So not only does Unleashed Wargaming paint amazing models for commission and stuff like that, send him an email. He does excellent work, as you've seen from the pictures. Not only does he do all the different Magic lore cards for Warhammer Fantasy, I mean every lore. You want Storms of Magic? Send him an email. You want Lore of Fire? Send him an email. You want every lore that's ever been out in 8th edition? Send him an email. These things are solid. They're laminated. They're on cardstock. They're Photoshop made. They're amazing. And they're good. They're well priced, guys. I'm telling you. And now he's also doing 40K cards. The psychic stuff or whatever. I don't play 40K, but if you do, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with it if you don't get these cards and if you don't have your models painted by them. Just throwing it out there. Just, you may, if you feel guilty, that's because you know you're wrong. But send this guy an email, get your models looking good, get the cards that you need, get your real game going, and tell him Tremendous sent you. You're not going to regret it. That's right. You knew this was coming eventually. In conjunction with Unleashed Wargaming and Lonehammer, we have opened an online store with hats, shirts, and I think that's it for right now. Maybe dice and stuff like that later on, as well as other gear, maybe dice cups, whatever. We'll think of something. But we're doing a trial thing for the next month and a half or so. We're gonna have this online store. The website is here. It'll be in the description of the page and everything like that. But yeah, if you want a T-shirt, if you want a hat, if you want to wear paraphernalia, by all means, head over to this store, check it out, get yourself some Lord Tremendous gear. God knows I have. and and yeah, this is your chance. If you like Lonehammer, if you like Unleashed Wargaming, if you like Lord Tremendous, you can get this stuff. And if you don't like us, you can get it and you can set it on fire and send it to us as a threat. It's awesome. But yeah, go to the website. It'll be here. It's on this channel obviously, or on the description, and get yourself some gear. We're gonna try it out for a month and see how it goes, and if it keeps up, then we'll keep adding to it, and if not, well, we'll pretend like we never did it. But yeah, guys, by all means, and if there's anything you want to see on the store or anything like that, throw it in the comments section, and if we like it, we'll make it happen.
Whoever dies here today, you will certainly be among them.
So, yeah, it was a defeat for Lord Tremendous. At the end, I had just a little bit over 300 points left on the table. We didn't even bother scoring it up because we played enough games to know that I got my face kicked in. I ended up losing my Vampire Lord like an idiot, my Lich Priest, my Tomb Prince, my Skeleton Warriors, my Zombies, my Kitty, my Archers, my Chariots, and my Stalkers. Death Holy Death lost a level 4 wizard, mostly due to his own actions. Terrorgeist, mostly due to my actions, although he did help. 1 brick of zombies, a level 2 vampire, and some dire wolves. So, he was bloodied, but he was far from defeated. It was looking good for a turn or two, I got to admit, but only for like maybe a turn and a half tops. Yeah, it wasn't great, but I would have liked to do better, but I guess it could have gone a lot worse. I could have gotten tabled, I guess. I do like the Morghasts. Granted, I only used them against zombies. I get that. But you know what? They did do a decent amount of output, when it comes to offensive damage. I like that. Their toughness 5, their weapon skill 5. That's really nice. And to be perfectly honest with you, I love the models. So just to let you know, I did buy a box of Morghast that night, and they're already been assembled, and the wife is already planning on painting them. So expect to see 3 Morghasts on my list for a little while to come. Zombies, I'm beginning to see the appeal. I do realize that I need a bigger unit to start with. 33 is just not cutting it. But I'm toying around with it. I'm dorking around with it. You will see them in future lists. And yeah. The Morghast and the zombies are 2 things that you'll probably see more often in the list because I'm enjoying them. The casket on casket hate was something else. It was very clever, in my opinion, for Death Holy Death to target my casket with his casket. It was an interesting tactic, especially considering I usually leave my casket way away from everything else, so it doesn't get like my general's leadership or anything. And it's only like leadership 7 or 8, so it's not great. So yeah, I will definitely be stealing that tactic from him from now on, since he now seems to like to bring a casket of his own. But gotta give him props. I never really would have thought of that. I would have targeted something else like his Mortis engine or his what's it called? His Terrorgeist. His engine rolling boxcars to scream at my chariots just sucked. Like he needs help against me, right? Thank you, dice gods, you bastards. But you know what? I am very glad to have my Vampire Lord under Terror again. I do like him flying around. I do understand he's going to get knocked off of it a lot. I get that. I don't care. I like the model. I like having him on the table. I like having that target on the table for my opponents to be like, ooh, that's dangerous. Because, yeah, fire at him all you want. He's still a toughness 5, Blender Lord that can heal himself. And if he gets into combat, he can hold his own. Unless, of course, he runs into something else with Always Strikes First and I decide flubbing is fun. Curse of Years is quickly becoming a favorite spell of mine. If it wasn't for Death Holy Death able to roll regen saves like there are 1-ups, it probably would have done some extra serious damage to the Crypt Horrors. As it stood, the Crypt Horrors pretty much got taken out by Curse of Years. If maybe if the Mortis engine hadn't pulsed as average as it did, maybe it could have done something else. But it is what it is, and I'm quite happy to see how it worked out. But still going to be doing some changes to the list. I saw things I liked. I saw things I didn't like. I'm still toying with ideas and combos and all that stuff. So there will still be changes to lists through future battle reports and stuff like that. So you shouldn't get bored with my list anytime soon. But as always, this was a damn good game. It was a lot closer for a little while than they usually are when I play against Death Holy Death. And yeah, of course, I love the rivalry. It's always fun to play against Death, and there will definitely be a rematch. But that's it, fellas and fellettes. This is going to do it for Battle Report number 203. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.